Here's why having high utilization is the dumbest thing in the world and will forever set you back financially. Let me explain. On your credit report, you have 5 factors that make up your credit. You have credit mix, credit history, length of credit, inquiries, or new credit. And the most important that we're talking about in this video, utilization. You have to remember that, yeah, you have no late payments, and that's awesome. I promise you that's awesome. But your credit card utilization is at 30%. What sense does that make? And I always hear, well, I heard through the grapevine, having your utilization at 30% is actually good. There's actually no harm to it. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a big fat lie. You've been told wrong all this time, and I'm gonna explain. Just let me explain. Let's dive. Let's dive in. Like I stated in the past, your credit score is very important, and it can make or break your financial life. I know it's not the biggest component on the credit scale, with payment history being the biggest at 35%, but utilization is at 30%. That's still a lot. Even with that information alone, if utilization on the credit scale is 30%, what makes you think having your cards at 30% is okay? It's not. It's not like you can have 35% of your credit card bills paid and it's okay. If you think I'm lying, do it. And please let me know how that goes. And then you're gonna come back to my how to remove a late payment fast video that I made in the past. Link in the bio. Check it out. So please don't do it. Just listen to what I say. I have facts that actually back all this up. Your utilization has a humongous impact on your credit score. The reason why is, if you look at your credit score right now, let's say you have no late payments like I stated, but let's just say that your utilization is at 29%, 31%, or anything of that nature. Your credit score is not as strong and high as it can be in this very moment. The reason why is because it shows that you're not actually being responsible when it comes to your actual financial decisions. You can have good credit one day and have literally bad credit in the next 24 hours. I'm telling you, that's literally a thing. It could be, it's a make or break. Your credit score and the algorithm is very, very sensitive when it comes to a lot of things. So you have to be very militant when it comes to credit card utilization. And to dive deeper into these facts, when it comes to credit card utilization, you have to remember that even though you have nothing else, collections or anything else on your credit report, that is one of the second or third things lenders look at to see how credible you are. And when you have a high utilization, you no longer look credible to lenders. No one wants to lend to you. You look like the ugly duckling, the friend that's always cop blocking, things of that nature. They're like, no, get this away from me. They don't even know what they're doing. For example, let's just say you wanted to actually obtain something, let's say an auto loan, a personal loan, things of that nature, and it's big boy funding. And you go to one of these credit unions or a big bank, they're gonna look at your credit card utilization and they're gonna say, why is the credit utilization at 28%? So in their head, they're thinking that, okay, they think that they can just pay this over time and it's okay. And that's not actually how it works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deny them. Or, you know what? We're going to approve them, but the APR rate is gonna be so high that we're gonna make so much money off of them. Because you gotta remember, at the end of the day, these banks and credit card and credit institutions wanna make money off of you. So if you actually accept that with a super high APR rate, they're gonna make so much money off of you, and you're gonna look very, very, very bad. And you're gonna say, well, why does it feel like I'm always playing catch up when I'm paying what they're asking to pay? Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, sometimes you look like an easy target to a lot of these places. So with that being said, you have to keep your utilization down. It is a must. That's why it's right behind late payments. 35% for late payments, 30% for utilization. It's second in command, so you have to keep that down. So let's just say you do have a high utilization. Let's talk about how you can actually reverse Uno card that. First and foremost, you want to pay off 80 to 90% of your actual credit card debt. I don't care if you have to budget, I don't care if you have to write it down, ask Siri to help you, chat GBT, the list is endless. You have to pay off 80 to 90% of that. And you can actually fact check this. The average American that actually has high utilization or average credit, their utilization is at 20 to 30 to 40% or higher when it comes to utilization. Now, when it comes to somebody with exceptional credit, they keep their utilization between 1 and 9%. So basically, they're not treating the credit card as an actual loan. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you budget and you actually pay off 80 to 90% of that utilization. You want to keep it at 1 to 9% at the end of the month whenever it is due. It doesn't matter what you do during that week. You can max it out as long as you pay it off and you pay it down by the end of the term. Don't pay the minimum balance. Now let's talk about the minimum balance. Paying the minimum balance is literally a trap. You're literally hustling backwards if you pay the minimum balance. Now, I'm not speaking upon the people that, let's just say you had life hit you, you actually had a hiccup, you actually have to pay the minimum balance just to refrain from actually getting a late payment. We're not talking about you. That's understandable because you actually have a plan where it's like, hey, I went through something, I'm gonna pay the minimum balance this month, but I'll accept the interest and anything like that. But next month, I'm paying it off. It doesn't matter. I'm paying everything off. I just have to go do something. That's understandable. But for the people that think paying the minimum balance is actually a flex, it's not. You're hustling backwards. Personal credit is actually very, very, very sensitive. So if you're paying the minimum balance, try to pay actually lump sums of it off. I know that, hey, pay the $20 this month looks really, really good to you. You think that you can keep, I can keep X amount of dollars in my pocket. No, pay it off. You laid in the bed, now you gotta make it. So whatever that you actually used on that credit card, pay it off. So I talked about how you can actually get rid of the high utilization and actually pay it off and certain things that you can do. Let's explain how you get into this trap so easily. I've been in this trap before. This is why I can speak upon it. But I want you to either evade that trap or get out of this trap. You guys have to remember, please do not be an impulsive buyer. What does that mean? An impulsive buyer is a person when they don't have the money, but they have that credit card singing to them in their pocket, telling them, you do have the money, just use me. No, don't do it. You're supposed to use your credit card like a debit card. This is why this myth is out here that credit cards are bad. No, people that have no knowledge of credit cards with credit cards are bad. So with that being said, let's just say that you're trying to get the new iPhone, or you're trying to get a new flat screen TV or anything of that nature. And let's say you don't have the money in your account, but you're thinking, I'll just use my credit card because the credit card limit is $3,500, but the iPhone is $2,000. I'll just swipe it and I'll pay the minimum balance till I pay it off. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. The reason why is because you're going to be paying interest out the wazoo until you pay that off. So at the end of the day, use your credit card like a debit card. If you don't have $2,000 to spend in your bank account and you try to swipe your debit card, what's going to happen? A lot of bad things are going to happen. Just like a credit card, but it gets worse. You get me? You see where I'm going with this? Don't do it. Don't be an impulsive buyer. Because like I said, at the end of the day, you don't want to be in interest jail. It's not a place that you want to be. You will forever be actually paying off interest instead of the actual balance itself. Go back to the beginning, pay everything off. I just want to go a little bit more into detail about the 30% utilization myth. I don't know where it originated from. I tried to Google it. I kept getting a lot of different answers, but a lot of people think that that's a magic number. Like, as long as I do that, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. It's not a magic number. It's a myth. It is a humongous myth. All of the best moguls out there do not keep their utilization at 30%. Anybody, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Robert Kiyosaki, all of these people that have actual credit cards keep their utilization either at 0 when the balance is due, or they keep it between 1 and 9% just to keep something on it to actually show the credit bureaus that they're actually using it. Because sometimes when you keep a small percentage of 2%, you can actually get a credit raise on your credit report because the algorithm actually sees that, this card isn't just sitting on their account, they're actually using it. So if you want to go from having 2% one month, 0% the next month, 1%, things of that nature, you will see your credit score increase, or sometimes it might fluctuate. In my opinion, just pay everything off or keep it at 1 and 2%. That's what I say. You have a credit card limit of $10,000, right? but your utilization is at 30%. 10,000, 30%, that's $3,000 that you're reporting to the credit agencies that you have $3,000 on your credit card. And let's just say the APR rate is 18%. That means that you will be paying, because it's annually 18%, you'll be paying around, that means that you're paying $540 in interest just for having that $3,000 on your credit report. So if you think about it, that means you literally are just giving the banks $540 for no reason. This is what you're literally saying to the credit bureaus and the banks. Hey, I just want to give you $540 because I just want to keep $3,000 on my balance. So here you go, just to let you know. See you next year. That's literally what you're telling them, because you got to remember, at the end of the day, the banks and credit unions are here to make money as well. That's why they give the minimum balance. So do you really want to give $540 to the banks every time or every year? That makes no sense. You can take that $540, invest it, use it towards another bill, use it towards a vacation, use it to actually invest in something, but don't give it to the banks. Just treat your utilization like you treat your late payments. Don't have any. If you want to be average and stay in debt, then believe in the 30% rule. I'm telling you. But let's just say this. If you think I'm just blowing smoke, or you think that I'm actually not being honest, actually do have less than 10% utilization on your credit card. See what happens to your credit score. And then next month, I want you to have 30%. Pay the minimum balance of whatever it is. And then I want you to come back to this video and then go in the comments and let me know what actually happened. So in conclusion, when it comes to personal credit, just pay it off. Don't be cheap. Use your credit card like a debit card. If you don't have it in your bank account, then you don't need it. Don't let utilization stop you from getting something that you want in the future, like a car, a house, investment in business credit. The list goes on. This 1,000-year-old myth of 30% utilization is not okay. So don't let this hold you back. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying that you will be denied for things for having 30% utilization, but what I'm basically saying is that you will actually receive whatever you're trying to get with an APR so high that it's going to hold you back, and you're going to be trying to figure out which way is up, because you're saying, I'm paying everything that they're telling me to pay. Why am I continually digging this financially debt hole? So with that being said, take this information and apply it to your life and your financial goals, and I promise you, you will see a big difference. I want to appreciate you guys for sitting here retaining and learning all this information. Now go get that utilization down, and like and share this video for somebody else with high utilization. And until next time, ladies and gents.